You're listening to Rebel Spirituality with me, Sam Goldfinch. Here's the truth. Wisdom doesn't follow rules. So each week we're going to explore what it means to wake up your way so you can live a more peaceful, creative and inspired life no matter your circumstances. It's time to blaze your unique path to truth. Hey Rebel, so I was reflecting on what would be a good title for today's podcast, and I wanted something that kind of encompassed the practicality of what we're going to talk about today. And as many of you will know, it's kind of central to what I do here, that spirituality becomes ruthlessly practical. Like, ideas, nice shiny ideas and spiritual platitudes and trite bullshit that we pick up along the way isn't helpful when the shit hits the fan. It's the first stuff to do a runner. It's like, well, thanks very much, nice ideas. It's, it's embodied insights. It's seeing how life truly works, how we work, who we really are, that's going to make the difference. And I had just a very kind of what might seem like a very day-to-day life story, but held within it, I thought was something really profound. So I kind of wanted to share that with you today. And the title that came to me is that you can cry and call the plumber. Both things are allowed, of course, and we're kind of talking about balance today. So me and my partner, we had a leak, and in the ensuite, we basically in our bedroom, there's a small bathroom on the side, and there was some water sort of appearing in the ceiling. I was like, what's going on here? It doesn't look like it's anything too drastic. So I phoned up the insurance company. They came out and they had a look and they inspected it. And I thought everything was going to be fine. And, they were going to come out and help us and repair it. And then they said that according to the rules of the insurance, we have collective insurance here because we're in a block of flats. They wouldn't do anything about it because we weren't in peril. And because it was a slow leak and it had happened over time, we weren't in peril. And so it was up to us. And in that moment, as I read that kind of report, that response from them, a bunch of shit appeared in me, right? There was a bunch of, oh, for fuck's sake, I can't believe that's happened. Now we're going to have to pay loads of money. That's crazy. How is it that our insurance doesn't cover it? All this stuff starts appearing, okay? And that's just how it is. I didn't make that happen. That was just the conditioned response. And maybe it would have been different on a different day, but that's what happened to me, right? But knowing what I now know, and many of the things that we talk about on the podcast, what proceeded to happen was very, very different to what I think would have happened a few years ago. So what happened this time was I didn't argue with any of that. I knew I didn't make any of it happen. It just appeared. It wasn't any of my doing. I didn't want to argue with the fact or tell myself off about that. And many of the things that we can do, we can say, oh, I shouldn't be having this reaction, or we get completely caught up in the reaction and carried away with it, or we start adding to it and embellishing it, or whatever it might be. But I just knew I didn't need to do that. I just allowed it to happen, and I didn't cry. Although, who knows? Maybe there's many situations in life where we do find ourselves crying, or we do find just a shift happening in the system. And it's not like we're making that happen. It's automatic. It's just our system at its doing what it does. And for all we know, it's healing and feeling and doing everything that it's supposed to be doing in that moment, right? Now, I also know how it works, and I didn't lose sight of that in this moment. So I know that my entire experience is being created from within me, from within my own special effects department. And yes, it's true that there's a leak in my roof, and it's true that the insurance company aren't going to pay for it. But I also know that my entire experience of that is coming from within. There's nothing out there that has the power to make me feel a certain way, and there's no future happening that has power over how I feel or any of that kind of stuff. And in knowing that, I just didn't get so carried away. I didn't get caught up in all of that stuff. And then wisdom was there to serve me. So my system, in that moment, I didn't embellish any of the stuff that was coming up, but it was honored, right? And I feel like this is kind of what strikes me today as I record this, that the sweet spot is in honoring our humanness, in honoring what it is that shows up. But that doesn't mean embellishing it. It doesn't mean indulging it or swimming in it. This is this sweet spot that we have to kind of feel our way into. We hear words like bypassing and all this kind of stuff. And I think that's where the sweet spot is we know it's appeared. We didn't do anything about it. We don't need to feed it. We don't need to kind of give it too much attention, but we don't want to deny it either. We don't want to argue with it. And it's just allow it to do its thing and take a few breaths. And then wisdom shows up, and wisdom did show up, and I knew exactly what to do. It turns out that this leak had been something that's been here since the beginning, since this block of flats was built. And I was like, well, I'm going to send a letter to someone and say, well, I think we should get someone out to come and explore this, because it was something that's been wrong since the day it was built. And that process is ongoing, but I'm not super in my head about it. It's not stressing me out. It's not overwhelming me. And it's possible, I don't know if this is true, but I think it's very, very possible that a few years ago, I'd have gone really into the story. I'd have felt like, it was just some big explosive event that had happened, and I'd be angry about it, and I'd kind of be emailing people and rigging people up, and I may have been telling the story over and over and over again. And in the world that I'm in now, it's okay. I've done the things that I need to do. I got the leak stopped, and now I'm going to see if I can talk to people about getting the repairs done. But it's no big deal. It's no big deal. And so in that moment, I was able to be fully human and allow whatever came up, and also fully divine in the sense that it's okay. It doesn't really matter. And to me, that's what this is all about. This whole rebel spirituality thing is about being human as well as being spiritual. And of course, there's no distinction. It's the same thing. It's just the same thing. But trying to kind of hang out in states and deny the fact that we may have an experience of anger or insecurity or discomfort makes it hang around. It just makes it worse in my experience, right? Will we move to a place where we have less appearances like that? Who knows? Maybe. But the thing is, if we're telling ourselves that, well, I'm not free and I can't be done and I can't be liberated or whatever, based on the fact that I'm still having a human experience and some conditioning shows up every now and again, we're instantly saying, I don't have it here right now. I'm not free now. And this is the only place where you're ever going to have access to it. There is no future. There is no future. So it doesn't matter what we do or don't burn off at the level of our conditioning. And ironically, in kind of honoring that and just not embellishing all that stuff, it unravels. It unravels. In a way, embellishing it or resisting it, which is kind of the opposite, not allowing it in, they are the things that keep that stuff spinning around. But actually, as we honor it, but don't kind of jump in it and swim around in it, take a step back, those things unravel. And in my experience, more and more often these days, the kinds of things that would have threw me through a loop or, kind of derailed me for a day or a couple of days or something, they're things that just the energy moves through very, very quickly. And I think that's available to all of us when we're kind of looking towards that sweet spot. So you can cry and call the plumber or whatever it is, however it is that it's showing up for you. So there we go. All right. I hope you have a beautiful day, a beautiful week, a beautiful month, all that stuff. And if you're new to the podcast, welcome. I know there's been a lot of new listeners here, which is just lovely. It's amazing to have you here, and I really appreciate you taking the time to listen. And if any of you feel called to leave a review or anything like that on your favorite podcast player, it means the world to me. I have a Substack for which the link is in the show notes. So I'll do a weekly riff where I write something each week, and just try and get this rebel spirit out there in all the ways I can. But it means the world to me that you're here listening and supporting and sharing this with friends and doing all of that good stuff. Okay, as I say, have a great day. I'll see you soon.